Hello, holistic pet parents, and welcome. Today we're joined by the lovely Dr. Angelique Barbara, who's also lovingly known as Dr. Angel. And Dr. Angel is a doctor of chiropractic who holds additional degrees in veterinary science, equine science, and veterinary pathobiology. Welcome, Dr. Angel.
Thank
so
you
lovely
so much.
To have
it's
you.
Great to be here.
So today we're just going to learn a little about cold laser, and we will have Dr. Angel talk to us more about the benefits of laser. So I'll ask you a couple of questions for our holistic pet parents in Dubai, and would love to get your views about specific conditions or issues in dogs that we can target using cold laser therapy.
Great.
So first things first, if we could talk more about some of the benefits of cold laser, what would you say are the top 5 benefits?
Well, I would say definitely with cold laser, speeding up healing is the number one benefit. If there's any kind of injury, utilizing cold laser can definitely speed up the healing time significantly. Also, reducing inflammation is a big one too. So if there's any kind of inflammatory response, whether it be an acute or chronic thing, you can use cold laser to help with that. You can also use it for regeneration, so you can use it for joint regeneration and also nerve. I've actually used it quite a few times to help with nerve regeneration, because nerves will regenerate when you have nerve damage, but it's very slow. It's an extremely slow process, and cold laser can really help speed that up significantly. And then you also have a pain reduction that comes along with it. So I would say that would mostly be the number one benefits of utilizing cold laser therapy.
Right. And I do use both cold laser and red light therapy. If we could talk a bit more about some of the differences of both, just to educate our pet parents that do utilize both red laser and cold.
Yeah, definitely. So for those who don't know what cold laser is, it's actually a light that's emitted, and we call it cold not because it emits any kind of coldness, but because there's not a heat associated with it. So there are lasers, for example, there are lasers that can be used for surgery that cut through the tissues, and then we have something called a class 4 laser, which does emit some heat.
Right.
The one that most pet owners would be utilizing is probably a class 3. A class 3B is the most common, and that one does not give off any kind of heat. So the difference between that and a red light pad, which red light therapy is similar, but red lights do give off some heat, so when you put the pad on you, you will feel the warmth. But also the laser penetrates deeper than the red light pads. So I like to use red light therapy more for superficial issues, like for skin issues, things in the superficial fascia, even some superficial muscles. But with cold laser therapy, you can really get deeper into the deeper muscles, into the joints and things of that nature.
And what is the typical duration and frequency of cold laser that one should keep in mind?
So cold laser, depending on the type of laser that you're using, can range from just a few minutes for a session up to about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the location and the type of laser. And again, one of the differences between cold laser and red light therapy is that the cold laser sessions will be shorter, whereas the red light therapy sessions will always be on the longer side.
And as with everything, we understand that there are contradictions. So talk to us more about some of the contradictions with laser therapy and some things that we should keep in mind.
Yeah, so the number one contraindication for using cold laser would be cancer. So if there's any kind of cancerous mass, anything of that nature, we want to avoid using it, because the way that cold laser therapy works is it targets at the cellular level the mitochondria in the cells. And the mitochondria are what produce our ATP, which is the energy that the cells utilize. So when we have more turnover of these mitochondria and we're producing more cells, when cancer is present, it can actually have the opposite effect of what we're looking for and speed up the growth of that tumor. So we do want to make sure that we don't use it anytime there's cancer present, but other than that, there's relatively few contraindications, and it's a really safe therapy.
And would you recommend laser as preventative medicine or specifically to target a particular issue?
Normally, it's to target a particular issue. There are circumstances, like in the course that I teach, we talk about laser acupoint stimulation, so we can use it similar to acupuncture and use it to stimulate certain points along the meridian, which can be used for preventative purposes and just wellness in general. But mostly we use cold laser when there's some type of injury or inflammation present.
So like a dog with luxating patella, for example, or any particular joint issues, arthritis.
Arthritis is a big one. It can help with luxating patellas as well as some of the other therapies that I teach. We've had good success with that, which I know is an issue in a lot of smaller dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely those would be examples of things you can use it for.
And with the advancement of technology and studies, is there anything that is that you'd like to share that has improved treatment for dogs in the recent years when it comes to laser therapy or any additional natural modalities of healing with regards to body work and laser?
Yeah, so in addition to cold laser therapy, which is being utilized more so now in veterinary practices, there are a lot of other modalities, bodywork techniques and other integrative techniques. Massage therapy is really beneficial for dogs. They do really well with it. I teach a course called Animal Neuromyofascial Release Technique, which is actually a body alignment technique that dogs do extremely well with, and it works really well with the luxated patella is one of them, but also if they have like intervertebral disc disease, it can help with that too. And then we mentioned earlier about the ozone therapy is another therapy that's kind of starting to get some traction and can be used for cancer patients as well as other issues. But there's a ton of things coming out now, and there's a lot more resources for pet owners that are looking for options where they don't have to utilize surgery and medication as their first, first option. So.
And we've got quite a few pet parents in the UAE that are keen to learn and pursue this type of natural modality of healing on their own. So I'm a part of Dr. Angel's Learning Academy, and I must say the courses are very, very user friendly. You learn on the go at your own pace, and you are supported by instructors along the way. So any advice for dog parents, pet parents that would like to pursue and learn a bit more about laser? Could you talk to us more about what you offer and how we can get involved?
Yeah, definitely. So there's two different courses. We do have one that we recently developed specifically for pet owners that is a shorter course, and it just basically covers the protocols on what they would do for specific issues, like you mentioned, the luxating patellas, or if their dog has a disc issue or an injury, a bone fracture, things of that nature. It'll tell them how to use the laser to help speed up that healing. And then we also have the course, the one that you took, which is a certification course. So that course, in addition to covering the Class 3B laser applications, we also cover Class 4, which is a more intense type of laser. We cover the red light therapy pads, and as I mentioned, we cover laser acupoint stimulation, which is really interesting because it gets into Chinese medicine and meridians and specific points that you can stimulate to using the laser rather than needles or your fingers to overall improve the health of the animal.
One of the concerns that I generally get from pet parents is that some of our dogs, they're quite reactive, and they may not do so well with having a laser session. So how do we support dogs that are reactive, that truly need laser? Any tips for reactive dog parents out there?
Yeah, so when it comes to doing any kind of body work on dogs, we will often have some dogs that just don't want to be touched, or they won't sit still, or they're a bit aggressive. So I teach my students to maybe try to walk the dog, interact with them a bit, get them to, expel some energy so they're not quite as hyper before the session. I've found too that oftentimes dogs will be more reactive if their owners are with them, because sometimes they're a bit protective of the owner. So sometimes I'll actually have the therapist just kind of walk the dog a little bit, get used to them, and then go in a separate room with that dog, because I've found a lot of times the dog's more cooperative if the owner's not there at times, depending on, their relationship with the owner. But one of the good things about laser therapy I've found is that since it doesn't really give off a heat and they can't really feel what you're doing, it is one of the less invasive types of therapy. So if I have a dog that doesn't want to be touched and doesn't want, any kind of massage or manipulation, I'll often start with something like cold laser therapy, which is a less invasive treatment, just to kind of get them relaxed, let them know that it's helping decrease some pain, and then normally that dog will allow me to do some other therapies.
Interesting. And for all those that are interested in learning a bit more and just soaking up the wealth of knowledge that you have to share, any plans for seminars, workshops where we could really get a hands-on experience? What do you have coming up for pet parents here?
Yeah, most definitely. So we don't have anything set up specifically in Dubai yet, but I would like to come back and do some hands-on workshops where we could do a number of different things. Kinesiology taping is also one of the things that I'm really passionate about. I started taping animals probably about 15 years ago. I was one of the first practitioners to start utilizing tape on animals. And I don't really see a whole lot of it in Dubai, so I think that that would be an interesting one to teach people how they can utilize this athletic tape for their animals, along with some of the other modalities. But yeah, I would love to do a small animal workshop, maybe an equine workshop, and possibly even just like a lecture if people want to come in and listen about some holistic ways to care for their pets.
And talking about lectures and learning, I see you have your book as well. So where can we find
so
this book?
if you go to my website, which is holisticanimalstudies.net, you will find everything there. You'll find the book, more information about the courses. We do offer free previews. If you want to enroll in a free preview of the course, you can go ahead and do that before you commit to actually purchasing it. But yeah, you can find out everything there. You can also find me on YouTube at Dr. Angel. It's like Dr. Angel 11, I believe it is. And I do have a YouTube channel where we go through a lot of different things. There's a lot of great information there if you're looking for more information about keeping your pets holistically. But yeah, everybody's welcome to go there and see what's going on. I would love to have more people in Dubai. We have a pretty good group. I do have students here, but it would be nice to spread out a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And I have been talking to lots of pet parents across the UAE that are really, really passionate about exploring laser. So just having a platform where we could come together, learn, understand a bit more, and then obviously would love the hands-on experience as well, where we could learn by actually seeing and doing. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've found if people start with the online course and they get some knowledge under their belt and they start practicing, and then I come in and do a workshop, it really just ties everything together and it helps build their confidence so they know that they're doing it correctly. And yeah, definitely.
And I think that would also help us as pet parents know that, hey, we're doing it right, or we need to be looking at something else. So just having your expertise to guide us would be quite
exactly.
useful.
So laser is very safe, but it is something that you could overdo it. You can cause a fatigue where you end up having the opposite effect. So instead of reducing inflammation and improving healing, it can actually have the opposite effect if you do too much of it. So it is important to be trained in it and know the proper protocols.
Right. Yeah. And I was about to ask you about the certifications, the qualifications you need, just so that we are doing right by our pets. So this is a really, really valid and important point that you've raised, to make sure that we're doing it with a qualified therapist.
Yeah, exactly. So the class 3B laser is one that anybody can purchase pretty much, but it is important to have the correct training in it. Now, if you're talking about a class 4, that's the one that you'll usually see like in a veterinary practice, because it does give off heat and you can actually burn the animal if you use it incorrectly. The class 3B you cannot, but still you want to make sure that you're trained correctly. So our online certification process, you have to submit case studies, you have to do
the videos.
Yeah, you have to do videos and exams. So it just makes sure that the practitioner is, proficient and safe when they're performing it. So definitely if you're looking for somebody to do cold laser, make sure it's somebody that has the training to back them up.
Exactly. And I know you do have a link to the cold laser on the website.
I do, yeah. So you don't have to purchase the one that I recommend, that one just because it's one I've been using for a long time, and it's done really well for me, and it's portable, it's easy to use. So I do have that one on my website if people want to purchase that one, and it's the one that I go through in the course. But that being said, if you have your own cold laser already, or if you have another one that you want to use, you can utilize that in the course. You don't have to purchase the one that I recommend.
Okay, so this has been so useful. Stay tuned for more because I'm sure that we'll see more of Dr. Angel. And I'd love to keep the conversation going. So more to come in the space.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, just go to the website. We have a contact form there. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah, perfect. And Dubai Pet Parents, I would be more than happy to connect you with Dr. Angel. So look forward to lots of questions, comments, and any feedback you may have, or any topics that you want to hear us talk about.
Perfect. Well,
Okay,
thank you so
thank
much.
you so much.
Great being here.
Thanks.